So welcome back to the Tool Shed. Now, if you have done any coaching or counseling therapy with me, you have heard me use this. This is one of my go-tos over and over again in my life and in guiding other people. I call it empty cup or the empty your cup tool. So what does that mean? When I meet people, they are filled to the brim because they are in what I call the afternoon of life, the second half of life onwards. I mean, I do have a couple people that I've worked with or I do work with who are in the morning of life. They're the exception to the rule. One of the reasons why I work with people in the afternoon of life is because this is when their cup is the most full. And it's filled with oftentimes really good stuff. They're, a husband or a wife, they're a parent, they're a child. Oftentimes their parent is still alive or one of them. So they're in that sandwich generation where they're responsible for almost double time, both up the scale and down the scale. They have their siblings, again, professionals, jobs, tons of bills and responsibilities, church, synagogue, fraternal organizations, volunteering, the list goes on and on. These are people whose lives are very, very full. And what's that saying from the Psalms? My cup runneth over, right? What nobody teaches us is that when your cup runneth over, although it even might be filled with a lot of blessings and beautiful things, it still makes a fucking mess. And so I help people, instead of cleaning up the mess when their cup is runnething over, emptying the cup. So what does that mean? First of all, in our work together, and again, you can do this on your own, starting to sift through what's in the cup, just to figure out what's in the cup. I mean, so often it's like my subscriptions to all of my news accounts and media accounts and entertainment accounts. I mean, Netflix and Hulu and Fox Sports, and there's so many of them now. I can't even keep track. And periodically, if I'm smart, I'll take stock of, okay, wait, what am I paying for? Do I want all these? Do I need all of them? Am I using all of them? We have to do that in our own lives, just to take stock of what's in the cup or what's on the plate, because you're finite. You're not a machine. You don't have an endless plate or an endless cup to fill up. And we just got to know first and foremost what's in there. Literally just making a plus minus column of what's in there. Now figuring out, is it good? Because if it's not good, I want to get those things out of the way. I have to work out a little bit longer because I'm eating extra during the winter months. And at night, I'm just snacking on sugary snacks. And no, you know what? And now it's filling up my cup because A, it's not good for me. And B, I have to work out harder because I'm starting to get the flab. I got to start taking stock about my time, my resources, that's finite. And then you start getting rid of some of the bad stuff. Oftentimes I'll make a plus column and a minus column and a neutral column. And it's those neutral things, like just the swing voter stuff. I got to figure out which way it's going to go and get it out into the minus column, get it out of my life, and all that stuff clearly out. That makes more room in my cup. Now I can start receiving, right? I can start receiving more from other people. When I do counseling, more often than not, it's around people's struggles in relationships, or that's a good percentage of it. And oftentimes that comes down to saturation point. When your cup is so full, even with the good stuff, that's when the fights break out or the neglect happens, where you just don't tend to the marriage anymore, or you're not paying attention to your kids. Right? When you coming home, son, I don't know when, and we'll get together then. That song by Harry Chapin, Cats in the Cradle, the dad's probably out doing good things for the family, but he's still out and he's saturated and there's no room for his kids. That's a heartbreaking tale. So many times the heartbreak comes down to we're just saturated. So we got to find ways to empty the cup and then filling it back up with the good stuff. So how do you empty the cup? Well, find yourself a therapist or a coach. That is top priority. I know when my cup is full, I'm not talking to my guy. He's my go-to guy, coach, therapist. And I got to talk to him to empty the cup. Sometimes people will just sit in here and just spew. They'll even apologize. Why are you apologizing? This is the place where you empty the cup. Because if you don't do it here, it's going to spill out in your life. So emptying the cup of all the negative things and frankly of everything in that hour. Just empty it so you can choose what goes back in it. Exercise is clearly a way to empty your cup. Journal writing, meditation, walking in the woods, doing nothing, right? It's like a Seinfeld episode. And I don't mean laying on the couch watching Netflix, because that's not doing nothing. I mean just sitting and being, or sitting outside and looking at the birds, or doing something like, again, a walk around the neighborhood that isn't about exercise, that isn't about productivity, because that's part of the challenge, is we're human doings when our cup is that full, and we got to get back to just being present. Or as a teacher of mine, Sylvia Boorstein, wrote a book called Don't Just Do Something, Sit There. Emptying your cup. This is not selfish work. Go to a spa, get a massage. There's 1,000 things. It is self-centering. It's not selfish. It is putting yourself back at the center of your life. Because if you're out at the perimeter running around, tending to everybody and everything, you're not at the center. They're not in relationship with you. They're in relationship with a version of you. And eventually, you're going to run out of juice. That juice is going to spill out and make a mess on the white sofa because your cup runneth over. So your duty as an act of responsibility is to put yourself back at the center of your life, to get back to your needs, to put the face mask, the oxygen mask on before you help the person next to you, to empty the cup and to fill it back up consciously, intentionally, with the right things at the right time in the right amount. And that is empty your cup tool. I will see you in the next video. I believe strongly in this tool, so get out there and use it.